Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Kerbal Space Program JNSQ-KSP, straight from the launch pad with our Orbiter 3, slightly improved, however without any Kerbals. So we have Orbiter 3 with a probe core instead, because we are already accepted the mission, a new one, and that is saving Deathmore Kerbal, and she is in this small little space pod capsule that I've already selected as a target right here, and I think right now is a pretty solid time to just launch our craft and try to rescue her in order to get her into our crew program, into our space program. And is it just me, or can't you guys hear any sort of sound? That's so weird. I was playing around earlier with the audio because I actually wanted to do a new, a different type of microphone. Okay, there we go. Now we have some sounds. Okay, so this is actually not a system error, but as it seems some game error, because now we can hear a bit of sound. But rather just going supersonic and not engines. That's weird. That's very, very weird. Anyways, that's not what I was actually trying to talk about. What I was actually trying to talk about is, I've been thinking about the exploring the Mun thingy, and our last mission that we completed part 2 and 3. Return Kerbal from Mun and return to Kerbal from a Mun flyby. Because we can hear the staging. That's so weird. Anyhow, and I think the issue in it, why it didn't count as completed, was because the part that we recovered had no control. It was not a probe core, it was technically speaking just debris that we detached, even though this debris had all the science experiments. So in our book it was a perfect success, this mission. However, in terms of the game, the actual craft got destroyed on re-entry, and I think that's why we didn't get the check marks done on in these subparts of this contract. I might obviously be wrong. That could be just kind of me trying to come up with a solution to this, but well, yeah, that's just a possibility. But anyway, so much so for that. So that just means that we have to bring down a probe core, or I think we'll actually go and do this with a live Kerbal straight off the bat in order to, well, why the bloody hell not, honestly speaking. Yes. Because, well, we might as well send out a Kerbal, get some more data, science data, and generally speaking also some sort of good experiment for the Kerbal, getting them another, probably not in a new level up, but at least some experience points for Jebediah or Valentina, and I think that will be done with that. So the engine's burned out, we're out of fuel, we're staging, and okay, and we're going to see each other once we're approaching a nice rendezvous, I hope, with this, with our target. So see you guys in just a sec. So here we are, still no clue why the sound of the engines is not burning, well, why there's no sound when burning, but since we are in orbit right now, we're not going to use our engines anyways, and actually, honestly speaking, except from low Kerbal, like low altitude around Kerbal where there is quite a lot of atmosphere, it was technically, or it is technically speaking, not even realistic that you can hear the engine burning, because as you guys know, there is no air in space, because space is a vacuum, well, more or less a vacuum, where there is no where there are no particles that can carry the sound waves from the engine exhaust, well, through space, and thus make you hear it. That's just, I guess that's a bit obvious at this point, since you're playing Kerbal Space Program, a very scientifically accurate space game. But so much so for that, I still cannot see the target, even though we're supposed to be 6 kilometers apart. I'm gonna press 4, or was it 3? I can't remember. No, it was 4. There you go. There we go. F4. I can't see you. Or where is it? I'm pressing F4. Okay. Anyhow, we're just going to cancel our relative velocity more or less. Have a look at the map screen. doesn't matter. Let's continue decelerating, AK pointing 0 meters per second. Let's have a look at our electricity. We still have 50 units. And I can point towards, oh, there is the target, brilliant. We can now finally see it. And throw ourselves towards that target at 16 meters per second, 18 meters per second, though our velocity vector is getting a bit off here. Let's now turn around a bit and point like a bit towards the target and a bit to correct our relative velocity. There is the capsule, 700 meters away. Let's time a little bit more, 100 meters away. Let's flip around again and get pretty much to a relative full stop. That seems solid enough in my opinion. It's not a full stop, but I can't be bothered to do this any more accurate. So where is now our target from this thing's perspective? Just a capsule, 0 electricity, 0 monopropellant. How nice. So she's going to EVA, we're gonna zoom in, I'd actually prefer having it the other way around. That the other craft is closer, well, on the Kerbal facing side, so that we could have Kerbal in the background. Whatever, that's just me hoping for a better screenshot as a thumbnail for today's episode. So after now our our new Kerbal, there we go, just point it that way, and we're actually passing underneath the other capsule in just a second. Right, if I were able to board that is, but I'm obviously, as you can see, totally incapable of moving using an EVA pack, because well, I haven't used an EVA pack in God knows how long. There we go, boarding. Did I even press the right back button? Wow, what a surprise. But now time to point orbital. Well, give us orbital measurements and burn the retrograde, right? Is that good? Is there any reason not to burn retrograde? No, there's no reason, so let's go. And bye bye capsule, and we're out of fuels. We're going to splash down and off we go. I think there is nothing else to say. We have actually brought a drogue chute just for, honestly speaking, just for safety purposes, but it doesn't really matter, quite honestly. So yeah, I think that's it. I think we're going to cut down through the re-entry, because that's going to take, now even with 4 times regular speed, probably half a minute or something like that, and I'm not quite sure what to talk about during this rather uninteresting period. Anyhow, see you guys in just a second. There we go, landed. Quickly double checking whether there is anything worth taking from here. I think no. Crew report, okay. Let's do an EVA report. By the way, I did a small little EVA report whilst just gliding down, and this was a new EVA report that we haven't done yet, flying above this grassland thingy or whatever that was. Who cares? Details. But now we got, well, just a tiny bit of science here, 50 science points. 50, wow, that would have been a lot. Some science points. We got a new scientist, and we got some money from the contract. Our primary goal, obviously, getting some money here. 5,000 for that. We got her as a new crew member, and 50,000 more, which gives us a good amount of money here. To further, to continue our exploration, aka our, well, space, how's that thing called? Our space center, our space program, there we go, that's what I was trying to say all the time. Okay, so we've used this contraption last time. Yes, we used this contraption last time. That's it. End of sentence. So we're going to remove all this entire contraption up here. and we will take a command back. Shouldn't press shift while doing that. Okay, so we have here a command capsule, which will obviously and very importantly have heat shield. And it's like 1. So something like this. Since we have EVA, we don't need anything fancy. Engine blades, 1.2 meter decoupler, there we go. So now, since things were going so very well last time, even though I have no idea how the rocket behaved, to be quite honest, or well, I can't remember how the rocket behaved, I must say it like this, but I do know that we had solid amount of everything on the way back, but obviously it was a small rocket with an entire additional stage, so I am a bit unsure whether I mean the difference between the puck and the terrier at this point is so tiny. There's no point in just forcing myself to use the pug if I can just use the terrier. So that's pretty much a idea I have. So this is obviously here as well a terrier engine with this entire contraption thing. I am however going to take you and make you double. Well, let's actually first of all, let's remove these things and let's remove... Oh, they were actually on 2x symmetry. Boy, brilliant, I already did important things last time. Or smart things rather. Okay. And no, you just go 2x regular. 1, 2, 3, 4. That smells fishy. Okay, you go off, and you go off, and you go. So we're going to start nice and clean with 2x symmetry. You, step 1. You, step 2. And where is it? There we go. That looks weird though. So, and you, step 3 for our asparagus staging. So you feed into this one. You feed into this guy, and you feed the central core. You feed the central core. There we go. Yeah, we have more than a thrust to weight ratio. That's something I do remember. However, you have all auto strut heavy power. Wow, that's brilliant. After adding some fins on these two, because these guys are the last one to drop. I'm gonna add some fins on these ones, some basic fins on these two. However, the only thing that will make a big difference. Okay, next up we have you guys. You have enough thrust to weight ratio. Brilliant. Albeit barely, quite honestly. That's not brilliant, but whatever. Good enough, I guess. First things flying away are the ones with the fins. That makes like a lot of sense. Oh no, not the ones with the fins, the ones with the basic fins. These guys here. Followed by, no, not you, but rather give me a new, yes, thank you, give me a new one. Followed by the ones with the engine. Will you even have enough thrust? The ones with the engine. Why don't you show me? Why aren't you showing me that you will have some Delta V? So let's get up here. Thank you. That smells even worse. I guess it's just some sort of staging error or so that the staging thing does not realize it's doing. I assume that's the fact. Wait, we have only 1.3. Okay, that's not good enough in my opinion. So let's remove this one and just take, no clue what kind of engines you are, but this should be good enough. Attaching you guys there. There we go, 1.2, brilliant. Then we have another 3000 in the core stage. And then Then we're going to ditch that one, and we have 400 on you, and like, wait, no. Wait, now I made a mess out of it. Actually, no, this is correct. This is good. You just have to stage these two in the opposite way, in the opposite order. Brilliant, brilliant. Now let's bring ourselves a. Wait, why should I bring a thermometer? We already have a thermometer reading. We already have a barometer reading. We already have goo readings. We should have actually everything from low and high space above the Mun. Which one was it? Flying over something. I think that's a thermometer. I'm going to bring one thermometer because why not? It's not. I think that's not enough weight to really make a big difference out of it. But anyway, so that's these are the small changes to our Luna. I think which one would make sense? 6 times. Yeah, that looks a bit weird. Actually, no, it seems to look rather good. A bit high stand, but whatever. Let's bring it down a bit, and we're going to send Jebediah or Valentino. Who's wanna? Yeah, let's send out Jebediah. In case he's going to burn out, it's going to be him. No, just kidding. Everything else should go according to plan as last time. We're going to go Luna 6. I know we're going to skip a couple of numbers, like SpaceX does with their Starship prototypes. Big changes. Big changes to the vehicle need to be kind of realized and also kind of viewed in the naming of the vehicle. And off we go. And I still can't hear some engine sounds. Speaking of the engines, I absolutely adore how the engine bloom looks here. I absolutely adore it. It looks so beautiful and so pretty. But sadly we can't hear anything, which is kind of a shame. But anyways, let's have a look. How far are we in terms of recording? So we are now at 15-ish minutes. This seems like a good way. I mean, good time thingy. Anyhow, long story short, we're actually about to drop these guys. I was thinking about doing it cinematic though. The problem is there's no engine plume in these guys on the first stage, since we're not dropping any engines right now with the first stage. So there's no point in actually waiting until flame out. As for Delta V, I have absolutely no clue whether this will be enough. I certainly hope it will. But we will see. And off these guys go. Wow, one of the nose cones just blew up there. Very interesting, didn't expect that. But I do like this rocket design, quite honestly, with this 5 engine configuration down here. With the one in the center, which is a Reliant, and then these 4 sideway engines mounted like this. Kind of really looks good, I think. In terms of custom designs, it's one of the few that I really think is low tech and looks pretty. Though I must admit, it helps. ReStock helps with it looking pretty good. Now ditching these ones in this configuration to make it, I guess, prettier, I assume. But anyhow, I guess from this point onward, except the fact that I still didn't do a pretty good gravity turn, just babbling around for way too long. I think I'm going to cut forward to Low Kerbin Orbit. We've seen this craft going into orbit, and it's just this stage left. Okay, here we are burning towards the Mun, again without sound, but there is no sound in space to begin with. I've been thinking about this now for while just planning the maneuver node, and I think we are not going to go for the full mission, so I'm actually still debating whether to do orbit to begin with. But we do know and can see that we have the craft that we left there in orbit last time, or in the last episode, is obviously designated as space junk. You can see here actually 2 parts, and I'm not even sure, especially after the entire story of not even being able to count. Right, that's a bit too close, I guess. We're gonna do a small correction burn once we're in the, like over here or something. No, let's actually do one in mid-course correction burn, because we do have 1300 units of fuel, which is a good amount to get into orbit, but not enough to, well, no, not enough to land, I think. Or it doesn't feel like it's enough to land, and I don't really want to risk jeopardizing getting stranded over there. So 188 is need to do just a nice flyby, which I kind of think is a solid idea. Like this, we can turn this into 5 meters per second burn, but we can already start time warping towards that thing. Then do a small capture burn into a low lunar orbit. Oh, and we're actually going the wrong way, as it seems. Like the debris is going this way, and we're going to come in the other side. So there's no point in going for a rendezvous. I think we're going to do it actually with the actual manned or Kerbal moon mission. And can I click here? I love this warp to next maneuver feature. I absolutely adore this feature. So I think we're going to go and complete the other part of the, like the rendezvous part of the contract next time. Well, probably well, not probably, but just next time when we're going to go there to the Mun, and for real going to the Mun. And this time we're just going to do a small quick little flyby of the Mun, as you can see here, with our first Kerbal actually. So there is something new. We're obviously going to do a crew report here. Thank you very much. Going to do grab this one, take data, do an EVA report because we haven't done that one so far. Do that, time warp in to the Mun. Hello there. Now do a nice, not RCS, nice retrograde burn here. Bit too late, but that's just a detail. Into a eccentric lunar orbit. I just have to think about this for a second. I want to have the apoapsis actually on this side. So we do have to reduce quite a lot of our... There we go, that seems more reasonable. Now you can just time warp to apoapsis once again. Or well, once again, just time warping to apoapsis. Reducing our periapsis so that it is definitely in space low above the Mun's surface. Let's go to below 50 kilometers, 45 out 38. Let's go even closer. Let's do a really nice close approach here and time warp something like this, and get really nice and close to the surface of the Mun. Hello there. No, we're not going to point retrograde here. Here we're going to point prograde. We're going to escape the Mun. We're going to do just one small little flyby. Crew report while in space near the Mun. Brilliant. Let's do an EVA report as well. EVA report. Perfect. Take data. Store data. Do we have the new data? Here, no, we don't. Why am I not surprised? Well, I'm not surprised. So now let's just time warp down here. We're really nice and close to the Mun. We should actually enjoy this view here. 19 kilometers. How pretty. And let's escape. So do a nice escape burn here, which will bring us into a course. Actually, not quite perfect trajectory. Let's point a bit downwards. This should tilt the orbit. Nah, probably won't do a lot. Anyways, we're gonna leave it like this. Do a second correction burn in deep space. Who cares? It's more efficient. Let's actually do another EVA report here. Midlands. I'm not sure. Have we got this one already? No, we haven't. So we can just. This one probably is not gonna give me a new. Nope, that's not gonna give me any new aspect here. And just time warping a bit more. Let's do one more before we go over the 50-kilometer mark. I have no clue where the edge is, but that's Highlands, that's brilliant. Let's move a bit further. Now the Mun is dark again, and I think that's it. Gonna put Jeb on an EVA here and do a nice screenshot, probably a thumbnail. And with that being said, we are on an escape trajectory from the Mun. Brilliant. We're going to go to Apoapsis up here. Brilliant. And now we're going to return. I should probably press like this one. And now we're going to return back to Kerbin, and we will see each other back on the surface, because, well, the episode is already going for a while, and I think going back down to Kerbin is now not really eventful. I mean, I'm just doing here a burn, then we're going to go through the atmosphere, and that's it. So see you guys in a bit. Here we are back again at the Kerbal Space Center, and we gained 129 science points from those crew reports and recovering a vessel from orbiting the Mun. Tiny amount of money, and Jeb gained 3 experience points, which is also pretty darn solid. Let's have a look. There we go. We have returned to Kerbin from the Mun flyby and orbit around Mun. So the last thing that we have to do is to rendezvous 2 vessels in orbit around the Mun. As for the R&D, boy oh boy, not the VA, the R&D, we have now a bunch of fancy new points to spend. I have no clue what we will need, but I think it's going to be this one. And with that being said, we can also go for a landing. And with that, we're out, and I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Until next time, Spaceship signing out.